Bona nit a tothom.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Xavi Hernandez coach press conference. So let's get started. Good evening, Xavi. So I'm guessing in the plan in your head, the craziness in the second half was not expected. You would have liked to have more control, but with Pedri's injury, you also lost that. So the feeling is that the team stood, held up mentally, and really faced off United. So do you get a positive impression, even if it was not the game you expected? Well, I'm pretty satisfied, although I'm not so satisfied with a tie because we're Barca. We don't like to get ties. But we competed against a rival with a spectacular level in Europe. Currently, I believe this is one of the best teams currently in Europe. As a block, as a team, they work together. They are properly coached by a good coach. And we've competed against them. We had great attitude. We were at the same intensity, equal in many ways at some points. And then I like the last the rush in the end. Because in the past we would go down mentally when we were behind in the result, and in this case we had a great reaction and we could even win the game in the end. So new fight, as you could say, and all the stakes will be high in Old Trafford. But I'm proud today because we gave it all today. Hi, Xavi. So how do you view the second leg in Old Trafford with this 2-2, with these feelings, with these sensations you get from this game, and also from losing Pedri and Xavi, two important pieces? Well, on paper, this is going to be a very intense game at Old Trafford. Even more intense, maybe, with a great setback, with a great scenario there. And again, I have the feeling that we could have won today, and so we can go to Old Trafford and compete again and see what happens. But it was a pretty tight game. There's a tough rival, one of the best in Europe currently. And again, I'm proud tonight of my team, in spite of the tie.
We've seen you pretty upset when you spoke with the referee. Ten Hag was complaining about a potential expulsion, and in the images on TV we can see Fred's hand very clearly. What do you think about this? Well, I believe this was a clear fault and a clear penalty, the second one. So how do you want me to feel? It happened the same in Milan, in the Champions League. Today, the same again. So what do we have to do in order to be entitled to this penalty? It's been clear, and I believe it's been checked. For me, it's quite incredible what has happened. Mister? You have introduced changes in the defense. It has been said that the defense was working pretty well, whereas today you have moved your players several times. Well, we have not changed the methodology nor the system. Only some players are more tired than others. Some of them are fatigued. Today, unfortunately, we've lost Pedri, also due to the calendar, which is very demanding. What a pity, and that's why rotations are important to refresh the team, especially for those players who are playing all the time, and to avoid injuries, because a lot is at stake in these last 4 months. It's a pity what has happened with Pedri, but I believe that both Jordi and Marcos have performed very well. We're looking for a nice ball kickoff. It's been difficult during the second part of the game to go towards the lateral side of the field. And, the team behind was very demanding. They are very intense, physically speaking. They beat you easily. I was looking for more freshness and, again, rotation in players. Hello, mister. At the back, Alejandro Segura for Radio Marca. I don't know if you've been surprised by United's approach. Sancho in the left, Bruno towards the right, because you had Araujo in the right. Were you expecting Rashford where he was positioned, and that's why you changed Araujo? What did you think about this approach? No. Actually, we wanted to catch them by surprise. Actually, we knew that the central was the one to the side the ball kick off, and that's why I positioned Jules and Marcus with a natural leg, with a natural kick off. They really understand the third man easily. Jules has played against Xavi many times, one of the pivots, so I believe it was okay. We were looking to surprise them and not to, let's say, respond to a Manchester United approach. They have powerful arms. They have a great team with high level players and an amazing coach.
So, do you have
the feeling that even if Barcelona could have won the match, this very intense match, do you have the feeling that for some minutes the team has somehow surrendered to a back and forth play? Have you missed? The team should be calmer, perhaps. Yes, of course. That's precisely what they aim at. I remember Rashford in our back. They are amazing at transitioning. We wanted to avoid transitions by putting pressure. We've made it sometimes, but of course they are good players. They charge very well. Rashford, Bruno is very good at long distance passes. So we're speaking about high level players, and we've played against a major team.
So when Pedri got injured, you got in Sergi Roberto. We haven't seen him in the center for quite a few games. Do you think he could be the natural replacement for Pedri? Well, he is an alternative. He masters position game. He creates a lot of opportunities, finding the spaces. He understands his third man plays, and it was good to unload this to the wingers or to the center, to the pivot to find opportunities. So he's a dynamic player that can give us many things in this position. Yes. So following along that line, we still don't know how long Pedri is going to be out for. I don't know, maybe 1 month, they say. So what do you do without Pedri? Because he's such an essential player, right? Well, we've got alternatives. We've got Xavi, we've got Frankie, Fran, Sergi, Pablo. We've got alternatives that can also add up to the team. Pedri is a spectacular player for us. He's a very significant miss. We're going to miss him, but we've got alternatives and we will try to make up for it.
So in Old Trafford, Xavi has accumulated too many cards, so he will not be able to play. Are you optimistic when it comes to recovering Busquets or others for Old Trafford, and how are you going to tackle this game? Well, of course, I hope we will be able to recover one at least, and we'll see about Pedri tomorrow. We are still missing for the results of the test. So in your change, well, I believe Raphinha was a little bit upset. We've seen him upset. Your supporters have also been a little bit upset. What do you think about everyone being upset? Well, I think it's great. I was also upset. I told him. He came and said sorry to me. And I said, don't worry. I really understand you. I understand him very well. I have been in his position. It would be bad if he felt all right with this change. He wants to be there. He wants to participate. And I believe this is positive. Perhaps for you, this is a negative reaction. But for me, it's a very positive reaction. The fact that the player wants to stay in the field, that wants to play. I applaud this. I embrace this. And I keep insisting on them. You have to be upset against your coach. You don't have to be rude, but it's all right to be upset. And you can even call me whatever you like. I don't mind it. I have learned this from many different coaches. So I'm happy about the fact that he was upset. For you, it's negative. For me, it's positive. For me, it's absolutely positive that he was upset. Hola, Xavi, Josep Soldado, jóvenes de la Sexta. So it's been 24 hours after the news on the payments again for Negreira. Are you surprised about this scandal? It looks like it's becoming a little bit of a scandal at the international level. Well, let me quote the club's communiqué or press release. I would never like beating others by doing illegal things. I'm a fair man, and what I want is for the best to win, and always inside the field, never outside the field. Josep Capel, Radio Nacional de España, here. So the way the team has been competing, and I believe that in Europe it was, I mean, you had to be back in Europe. Have you proven to be back in Europe? Well, of course, stating this and not being classified next week would be tricky. So perhaps I'm not going to go that far. But again, I'm satisfied. We have played against a very important team, amongst the best today in Europe, I would even dare saying, as a block and as a team, very well fine-tuned with an amazing coach, and we have made it through, and I'm satisfied with the performance of the team. Xavi, bona nit.
Aquí, bona nit. Adri Alberts, en directo para el carrusel de la sèrie, moguts de ser...
So Ansu Fati didn't play in Villarreal, whereas today he has played for several minutes. So to what extent is it important that a player like Ansu, in such an important game, gives a very nice image? Well, he has performed very well, and he's always been the case. Ansu has done a radical change in his intensity, in his pace, in his aggressiveness inside the team, in attack, in defense. For me, Ansu is... I mean, I trust him 100%, and it's very important for the team.
So Ten Hag just said in his press conference that he thinks they should have scored 4 goals. I don't know. What do you think about that? Well, just respect to him. We've also generated many opportunities. They have to. I believe this was a very matched game, a very equalized game, and I have this bittersweet feeling that we could have won as well. This great team. So we could have scored many goals as well. Yes, Xavi, I would like to ask you about the change you did at the winger between Araujo and Koundé, and also to assess the performance of Koundé. Well, we were doing good. We were trying to go high and deep on the wings, but we have this great team with great transitions, great cross passes, and that's why we had the first goal, because this one-time mistake by us. But yes, still the game by Koundé was great.
Pedri, Xavi are not going to be in Old Trafford. We're going to see the Barca again with 2 extremes. I'm not sure. I'm thinking about Cadiz and about how people ended up there. Tired, exhausted. We have to recover our strength, and we'll think about it as on Monday. Today, in a new competition, the Barca has been scored goals, in contrast with La Liga here in Spain. So to what extent do you believe the team needs to be reinforced in European competitions? I believe we've done well when it comes to concentration, discipline, and in our usual, let's say, commitments and obligations. But of course, our counterparts plays back, and of course they make the most of their opportunities. Football is a game which is composed by errors. And today, of course, we've done 2 important errors, but I'm happy nonetheless.
So beyond Raphinha's being mad for the change, I would like to ask you about his game and why did you change him? Why did you change him? Well, because we need fresh people, alternatives, because everyone deserves the opportunities. I trust the whole roster, and I thought it was for the best. It was a necessary change for the team. We needed to keep up the intensity and the pressure, and that's what we get with Ferran. He gives us intensity and high pressure. Thank you. Good evening.
Paso yo. Paso.